and welcome to this special edition of News 96.5, Sales and Programming. Can they really be friends? I'm your host, Amy Lynch, and tonight I'm honored to have two of the best in the radio industry, General Sales Manager J.C. Campese and Programming Guru Drew Anderson.
Hello.
Okay, well, the reason why you both are here is because you were featured in the latest edition of Radio Inc., and it showcases both of your precedent-setting ability to actually work together as one united team. Can you tell me about your partnership and the endorsement strategy that you came up with for the News Talk format?
Well, on our end, on the sales side, it's an obvious want from a lot of clients. The tricky part, especially on the news, is the credibility side. Not lack of, so much of. And when you have such a good news product out there, if these guys and girls are going to talk about a product, first they have to believe in it. They're not just taking a check. They have to feel it fits, and they have to be willing to go out on that limb a little bit and talk about a sales type client or a corporate message somehow, some way, in an effective way to drive people into that store. So that's tricky. It's something that we've had to work on, but it's worked out very, very well, and we're doing great at it now, thanks to Drew and the creative staff he's put together. We've figured out some great ways to do it.
Yeah, but that sounds really challenging because, I mean, you were saying that you have to get that cred for the new listeners coming in and your old ones that have been around for a long time. So where do you find that balance?
Well, I think for us, when you just think about the types of clients who advertise and the number of clients, especially in News Talk, that really want to have somebody endorse their product. There's, hundreds of clients, I would assume. I don't know what the client number is today, but, everybody wants an endorsement campaign. And talent, from the talent standpoint, they want the money from the endorsements, right. But most of the time they don't want to do the work and put the work in that requires the maintenance of that client. And I think we've put together not only a great team, but we've put together some really creative parameters that allow our salespeople to sell more endorsements. They make our station sound more connected throughout the day. For instance, if we're running an endorsement from our morning show host in the middle of the day, it's a great opportunity and exposure for our morning host's voice to be in that day part while helping achieve some of the revenue goals that we have as a station.
That's amazing, and I think we have a clip. Let's take a listen.
It is caught on video. We've got it for you right now at news965.com at 7:21 on Orlando's Morning News. It was so good to see Shane from Mossy Oak Fence last week. He came out to our house to look at the areas in which we would want to have a fence put in. And Shane gave us some ideas on some fencing options that we had never even considered before. The different places where the fence would start, where it would end, what they could do with the fence, and some things that we just never considered before. It's one of the many benefits to getting a complimentary consultation and having Mossy Oak Fence come out to your house and show you some of the options. You go to mossyoakfence.com. It's MOSSY, mossyoakfence.com, or call 407-900-2940. Let the Mossy family protect your family.
And you talked about the revenue that you gain with the endorsement strategy. JC, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think one of the cool things that you'll recognize is the person that mentioned revenue was actually Drew, and that shows where we are as a team. I think it was some challenges to get there, but we're really doing very well, very, very well. Joe Kelly, for example, our morning news anchor and news director, was new to the market, followed a legendary person that didn't like to do endorsements, so it was not something natural on this station prior to Drew or Joe. We've exposed Joe to a few clients, and now we can't get the clients out of the way. He currently has 8 endorsements running. If these clients continue, which I know they will, that one person and those opportunities and the creativity that have come out of that department will generate between $600,000 and $700,000 that we wouldn't have had.
Wow, that's amazing.
And the clients are getting the results, which is ultimately the most important part.
And when you look back at these clients, these are clients who, I think most of them, maybe not all of them, but most of them are clients that believed in the station, but maybe did not believe in endorsement campaigns. So I think in the process of having a really great talent deliver their message and have a really compelling reason for them to deliver that message and have the actual endorsements sound updated and fresh on a day-to-day basis, what's happened is we've had more clients come to the table and say, hey, we want that guy. We want this talent to endorse our product because we see the results that are working for these other clients who we had been monitoring their results.
And what about the listener benefit? It sounds like because you were able to stay within your parameters of your brand, that the listener may benefit from that as well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think listeners are gonna trust somebody that they have a relationship with. The very nature of a host being on the air has some credibility to it by itself. But I think as the hosts talk genuinely about their experiences with the client, we see results from that. And I think that the listener benefit is not only in the fact that they trust the individual who's delivering the message on behalf of the client, but also it's really about, like I said, having that voice and that presence outside of their day part in a way that still ties it back to, for instance, Joe Kelly, who's our morning host, having him on during the middle of the day gives him a presence in a day part where he doesn't normally exist outside of a promo. And the same thing can be said true for our nationally syndicated hosts as well, where we have a number of great local clients who are using nationally syndicated hosts to do endorsements. Everybody from Sean Hannity, Brian Kilmeade, and Herman Cain. And generally speaking, I think all the clients get results, number one, and are satisfied with the buy. And we try and make that sound as local as we possibly can. It just makes those hosts appear better.
Listen, the days of ego buys are gone. Especially in our market, most markets I would assume, buying just to hear their name on a radio station. They have to see the cash register ring more often. So getting Sean or getting Joe or getting Laurel, Joe's assistant who's helping in the studio, it's grown to where it's extending beyond just these national hosts. And it's not doing that just because people have money to throw away. It's happening because it's working.
Yeah, and what's bizarre about it, I mean, JC just mentioned Laurel. I mean, here's an example of a person who's not a primary talent for the radio station, but is very much an integral part of what we do in the morning show. And without Laurel being there in the morning show, we would definitely have not only a lack of work being done in the morning, but she's been able to take on some of the secondary transactional type business that we know is not going to be long term and still keep us in that game to meet the client's expectations and still be able to deliver their message with an endorsement campaign.
Wow. You guys, I mean, you can tell there's a great little love affair kicking right here.
Oh, I just love this guy.
So
One day I want to be him.
oh,
Can I
well,
hear your best Ron radio voice? Really?
Broadcasting live from the David Moss Automotive Studio, I'm JC Campese.
I love it.
radio runs deep here.
I love it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We have JC Campese and Drew Anderson, and that's it. Well, as you have it, sales and programming can be friends. You're listening live to News 96.5.